Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen, open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of the West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Welcome back, everybody, to Simtrack's broadcast, and we're once again hosting the Doghouse Racing League, brought to you by Next Level Racing and Shoney's of West Virginia. Appreciate you guys joining us here. We start none other than with taking a look here at Jackson Lomax in the 96 Chevrolet. He has been putting in the work here tonight. Right now, he's trying to battle himself into the top 10 during qualifying right now, and do want to give a shout out there to Next Level Racing for joining along with the Doghouse Racing League for this upcoming season. But Kansas Motor Speedway is where we're going to start this season off, and it's going to be really interesting because the schedule is going to change up kind of weird. We'll be at Kansas this week. We'll be off next week, and I believe we move to Darlington the following week after that. But you want to talk about a wild schedule. If you thought last season was insane, it's going to be definitely a tight one. Joining alongside me here tonight will be Stella and Daniel Paulus. And as we kind of talk a little bit here about Kansas Motor Speedway, this mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter track is just so tough for these cars to really get a good handle coming out of Turn 4 or exiting that Turn 2 and not slapping into the wall. And Stella, really, the banking of these turns here, I mean, these fans have got to be really happy with what they're going to see here tonight.
Yeah, it's not bad. In 2011, they repaved it to increase it to its current banking. They went from a straight banking to variable. So as they come into these corners, you're looking at 17 to 20 degrees of banking. Your front stretch is between 9 and 11, and your back stretch still has 5 degrees.
All right, well, it's going to be definitely a good pile drive here. Jonathan Jennings, you can probably guess, sitting on the pole here tonight, 91 Chevrolet out in front. Last season's winner, points winner, that is. I wouldn't say he's not the year's winner because they're breaking this year actually into 3 parts. He's got one. He's going to need that second one to go ahead and really secure his shot for the ending here. Hunter Simpson sitting second and Kevin Powell is third. But let's take a quick peek at what we've got lined up here for you tonight at Kansas Speedway. 110 laps these guys are going to try to battle it out, and I'm sure we're going to see maybe one caution, but we'll have 3 sets of tires down pit, and we've now moved that fuel limit from 60 to 70. So guys starting to kind of pit, and now we're having to switch it up once again. This, of course, being an open setup league, guys are changing the gearing, guys are changing the suspension, the way this thing feels, and it's going to change the entire race. No faster pairs at all, so that 69-degree temperature out on the track is going to be crucial for our drivers here tonight. Jonathan Jennings, Hunter Simpson sitting in that front row as we'll see them grid up here in just a moment. And Daniel, Kansas Motor Speedway, man, this is definitely an interesting... an interesting track, with this mile and a half. Really, what do you expect anything less than to see the Loud Pedal Racing crew and the Elite Southern Motorsports group here in the front?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Patrick. I'm really not sure right now. I mean, it's a new season. We saw last season it was a pretty wild finish. So I expect now, since it's the first race in the next season, I expect these drivers to maybe see how their car's handling here and there. But like you said, they don't have fast repairs here. So you're gonna have to stay really cautious here because if a tire goes down, you go around the turn, you don't want to back into the wall. You don't want to go into the wall at all, basically, because there's no fast repair. But these drivers just want to see how their cars are handling tonight because it's way different compared to daytime to nighttime.
All right, well, we've already got B-Mac out there in the chat rooting on the Twisted Axle Racing Team, going number 12, and we'll find out where Andrew St. Cour ends up, actually outside the top 10, so we'll see how that ends up. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Jonathan Jennings and Hunter Simpson sitting in that front row with Kevin Powell. Here's Jonathan Jennings' brother sitting third. Daniel Wilkerson, man of the hour, looking to start in the top 5. He'll be fourth. Chris Leftwich sitting fifth with Christopher Simon sitting sixth. Talk about interesting here as we're kind of seeing that Elite Southern Motorsports. Now we're seeing the Shoney's Racing Team kick in. Let's go ahead and bring on Jackson Lomax starting 7th with Kevin Thompson, first driver from Twisted Axle, sitting 8th. Jacob Reeves, watch out for him in the McConey Entertainment Machine, sitting 9th with Gary Clune starting in the 10th position. Kim Kraus, watch out for him, 11th. Matthew Powell, check that out, not too bad here, sitting 12th. Rotate on back to the rest of the field, Andrew St. Cour. You're rooting him on, B-Max, starting 13th with next to Bill Gentry. On the inside of row number 8 will be Mike Samia, and Michael Dow will be on the outside. Eddie Rivers starting 17th with Tim Henderson. 18th position, and we're getting marching back there. Steven, I wasn't able to catch up with you here in the Discord, man. So 19th position for Steven. I don't want to butcher him here tonight. Dylan Goodwin will be starting 20th, and Mike Leftwich rounding out the final of our field here. I'm hoping Mike Leftwich is able to take the wheel here because I would love to see that number 60 machine get out front. He's really been trying really hard here to see if he can get this Kansas Motor Speedway to go his way, and he does, bringing out the final of the field. Stella, this might be an interesting one here.
Yeah, this is another good reason for our drivers, those who listen back at this broadcast. Bring yourself over into the Discord so we can interview you. Come in so that we can perhaps double check on your name, Steven, and it's
even saying hello. You know, they'll be able to come up here, talk to the fans, you know, kind of give us their little take on this race, you know, and it's not just us here from the booth. We kind of hear a little bit of radio chatter during practice, you know, how these guys feel, how confident are they, but we'll see as they get lined up here for the first start of the evening here, and I'm hoping it most likely going to be the last, seeing how Doghouse did last time. And away we go. Jonathan Jennings taking off on that inside line. Notice the paint scheme's going to be a little bit different, but the numbers are practically the same. So Jennings, inside line for him. Wait for those tires to heat up, and I definitely expect to see him ditch this inside line and rotate to the top, and there he does. Right out of number 2, everybody staying pretty solid. Looks like good moves made here so far by one move back here to Jacob Reeves, who's looking on the inside. Jackson Lomax, who's riding a little bit of that middle line here, seeing if he can find a little more fresh air toward the middle. Number 3 of Jacob Reeves taking a look at his Chevrolet, seeing if he can slice on through. And there in the background, we see Andrew St. Cour moving from 13th to 11th already, trying to see if he can break into the top 10. And he does. Puts Kim Kraus right behind him. And Andrew St. Cour really had a terrible qualifying, apparently, because he is, after one lap, has already slid up at least 2 positions. But Kevin Thompson's right on his outside here, Stella.
Yeah, and I'm also taking a look at Preppy Michelle out in the chat. She's rooting on Christopher Simon, who's sitting now in 6th place, number 27.
Yes. Right now, so trying to see if he can get his way up there. Right now, still in that number 6 spot is where he is sitting. I am getting a little sidetracked here. I think Mike Leftwich might have had a problem out here. That number 60 machine is down and out. I'm not showing him. He may have run into a bit of a problem here. I'm not showing him connected. I'm showing he might have had a problem there.
That's interesting. And look who's in the lead right now, Patrick, is Jonathan Jennings. Remember last season, he finished off really strong, and looks like he wasn't even away from the car. He's just like right back up where he resumed.
Yeah, some drivers have asked him if he's considered going road to pro and going ahead and achieving that next level. He has not considered that. He says he enjoys more driving with the rest of these guys and enjoying his time here, just with the way he can and does and can drive. I think also he probably enjoys coming here for the predictability. He knows he can race around guys that aren't going to put him in the wall just for no reason. I've tried road to pro myself, made it less than half a lap and got put in the wall.
He comes out here also to have fun. He would rather do this for fun rather than being so serious and doing it as a job. So he says, I have a life.
Alrighty, the number 13 Ford to Chris Leftwich, moving that Sitco machine into fourth. Daniel Wilkerson loses that spot, but still maintains in the top 5 in the Doritos Chevrolet. Seems to be doing so well, so far so good. Biggest movers here of the race, Kim Kraus, who is sitting 8th, and Andrew St. Cour moving into that 10th position. He is up 3. Dylan Goodwin as well, don't want to forget him. Do want to give him a quick shout out here, as it looks like he's trying to put the moves here on Eddie Rivers. This is the battle for 16th. As he slides on down, outside line seems to be really the top dominant track. You are able to pass on the bottom, but how aggressive is it to the tires on the right side of this car is going to be huge here during the race. Whether guys have to pit early or later, and the way Jennings and the way the Powells have been pitting, you've got to hold on. You've got to be easy on these tires, because the earlier you pit, the more they are just capitalizing on your mistakes out there. Taking a look here, Jackson Lomax in sitting 13th. Not too bad. They're almost in a 3-wide condition here as he battles alongside Gary Clune. Clune trying to see if he can get a little something going here. Right now, Clune has been actually falling back. So is Jackson Lomax. He's down 7 spots, but still, hats off to I believe, the only driver out here from Turn 1 Racing, trying to continue battling along here. It seems they have disbanded and kind of blown apart here. And I hope Jackson Lomax can find a new home. That way he can continue to strive forward on this race. Let's go ahead and get back up to the front top 5 here. 93 machine to Kevin Powell. Under fire. Looks like Chris Leftwich is going to slide underneath of him here. And right now, Kevin Powell just looks like he's going to let him on go here. And Daniel, this is pretty interesting. That you see the veteran status here. He's just going to let him go. He's not really going to push that hard. And Kevin not panicking, works right back around him and slides back into 3rd.
It does. These drivers don't want to be too aggressive. It's early on in this race. And look your top 5, top 10 are mostly veteran drivers who know these style tracks. And we saw it last year when they were competing for a championship last season. It was most of these drivers that were up front. But the new drivers that are in this series, Patrick, they're probably going to get angry at themselves, saying, why is my car not handling as good? Why am I not driving as good as people in the top 10? Well, here's the thing. If you keep practicing and keep racing, instead of giving up your first 2 races and say, nope, these first 2 races didn't go well, I'm not doing it anymore. Actually race, and then you'll keep getting better and better. It just takes time. And I think as we see right now, we just see the veteran drivers up front and most of the new people up in the back because they're not used to it yet. But eventually they'll get up there. As you see, we're looking at 13 of Chris Leftwich.
Yeah, I will admit, it is hard to learn when you're always staring at the rear bumper of some guy. I would like to know what it's like to get, bump draft by Jonathan Jennings. Normally everybody is looking at his, at his tailpipe there, but he continues to lead on, and Elite Southern Motorsports just seems to set that bar as they sit 1, 2, 3 here in the march in the front. Kevin Powell, the only Ford sitting there in that top 3. I was a little nervous here during qualifying that actually mostly Chevrolets occupied the top 10 here, but the lone Toyota of Christopher Simon is sitting 6th right now. And these guys really kind of taking a break here. As I noticed, I thought we may have had more of a shootout here in the first 30 laps here, with at least, 21 drivers that showed up here tonight. They're taking their time. Everybody's kind of waiting their turn and following along here. But really, hats off here to Chris Leftwich, hanging out there with the Elite Southern Motorsports team. Let's rotate on back. Check on St. Cour and Kevin Thompson. Yet once again, these 2 guys have been really doing a fantastic job last season. But they kind of fell off the chart there. you know, the last 4 or 5 races there, Stella, if you remember, that, you know, these guys are racing and kicking butt. It was, you know, Andrew St. Coeur got a win and then got another win, and then Kevin Thompson squeaked up there and finally, you know, I believe he finally got one. And it's just that twisted axle racing team just needs that one more oomph, you know, here at the end and really push this one on.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because they were winning in twos. You know, a couple for Jennings, couple for St. Coeur. We thought they had some little deal going there, betting pool.
Yeah, that it was, you know, and kind of them switching back and forth. That, like exactly what you're saying is interesting enough of how they were doing it. I don't quite know 100% how that happened or it played out that way, you know. I mean, Jonathan Jennings did win at Indianapolis and Chicago, which were 1 and 2. Then 3 and 4 were then by Hunter Simpson at Kentucky and Daytona. Then Andrew St. Coeur was at Atlanta and Auto Club, exactly like you were saying. And then we ended up with Jeremiah Stutzman there in Vegas, but I don't believe he was able to bring out the win there at Phoenix. So it definitely winds it back a little bit and say, hey, wait a second, you know, these guys have got to figure out how to break the cycle. I know somebody looking to definitely try to break the cycle now with Dylan Goodwin out there. I know he's trying to battle his way up to the front. Right now, he has moved up 7 positions as he battles alongside Bill Gentry in the 34 Chevrolet. So these two Chevys going at it here. Only 17 laps into this one. Looking at 18 next time around. It's kind of seesawing back and forth of guys moving forward, guys moving back. Clune is down 5. But remember we were talking earlier about Lomax. Lomax dropped down 7 positions, but he's fought himself back up. It's only 4 down, and he's trying to take a peek on the outside of the top 10. But the 34 gets way loose here and almost makes a contact there with Dylan Goodwin. Goodwin able to squeak out of it, and Gentry just trying to collect his car back together before Tim Henderson rear ends him there.
I mean, I don't know if that was the tire wear or he just had a lift or something. But, I mean, Bill just literally lost it there coming out of 4. But, like you mentioned, Patrick, the drivers that gain positions somehow lose them. And I think it has to do something with their tire wear or their line. And I think as we are going to progress throughout this long green flag run here at Kansas Motor Speedway, as your tires are starting to wear down, that means you're going to have a little less grip. As you see the 34 there, push the 4 up the track. They're going to be side by side coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, right now Tim Henderson just trying to get around Bill Gentry. Gentry way off pace here. As you can see, those tires are really starting to set in. See if we can get a bit of a chase cam here. Ooh! Before Tim Henderson goes up and makes contact with the wall. Remember, no fast repairs in this league, so little damage to that right side of his machine could cost him, I mean, huge amounts of time. We'll see if we can take a peek at Tim Henderson's machine here. Yeah, you see a little bit of damage up there toward that hood, and that's going to end up hurting him in the long run here of this race. So we'll keep an eye on Tim Henderson, who's right now sitting 16th position and moving on up. Let's see where Jacob Reeves has ended up now. All the way across the track here. He is 7th position, up 2 in that 3 Chevrolet. And so far, so good here, Stella. And, you know, kind of, we're only 21 laps in. What are you noticing here so far?
Well, the one thing I'm noticing is that a lot of these guys are, for lack of a better term, using the entire track. They're not sticking to high line. They're not, you know, they are swinging down, triangulating corners. Not quite sure what, you know, what their plan is, because that's going to burn up some tires. And with only 3 sets laying in the pits and 110 laps, they're going to have to do some conservation.
Yeah, looking pretty sketchy right now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Getting decent separation. Notice how Daniel Wilkerson's off by almost 2 seconds off the rest of the guys here. Definitely a heartbreaker here to watch them drive away yet again in another season. But somebody's got to figure out what these guys are doing. I mean, their setups just seem to be at the right, you know, the right way. You know, they've got some gearing change. They've got some suspension tweak that they are doing that is make or break here at the race. I mean, Wilkerson, I mean, he's racing hard. He's got no damage. He's made no mistakes here. But Wilkerson is right now almost 4 seconds off pace. And, I mean, Jonathan Jennings is doing some blistering speeds out here. His best time being a 30:48. The exact identical time of Hunter Simpson is the best time. But, I mean, Chris Leftwich has done a 30:24. Daniel Wilkerson has done a 30.39. So all these guys have been faster than the guys in the front, too. But here's where it counts, is when you start getting Jonathan Jennings doing a 31:19, a 31:21 that they're running now. We're starting to get guys like Chris Leftwich running a 31.5. You know, Daniel Wilkerson hasn't fallen off by that much, but they've got to figure out are they racing too hard early in the run, or are they slacking off too early, and that's what's causing the separation, because once they're losing this draft, it's getting so much harder to catch back up.
Yeah, well, nobody's close enough to even consider, a draft advantage, but they're going to have to come to, where is their threshold? Do with a 2-second drop off, or do they wait for a 3-second drop off as long as they're keeping up? But at some point, I don't know, they may have green flag pits coming.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye here on Andrew St. Cour. If you notice, he is breaking a little bit loose, not really enjoying that side draft from the 27 Toyota Christopher Simon. Slides underneath. St. Cour, man on the move. Look at this guy go. Right now, moving up himself into 6th position, which Jacob Reeves was happily settling into, but he's going to be, unfortunately, unseated from that position, leaving Kevin Thompson in the background. Kevin Thompson going to see if he can catch back up to his Twisted Axle buddy here in the front, and Gary Clune sitting 13th. So that is the Twisted Axle crew. They're going to be trying to see if they can continue on and battle this one out. But we'll keep an eye here. Ooh, man, Kevin Thompson almost making contact there with Reeves. But these guys have raced side by side before, so they know exactly what their thresholds are between each other. 21 machines, we take a top look. Jacob Reeves holding that outside, trying to make it happen, but St. Cour taking over Daniel Wilkerson. Wilkerson losing the top 5 spot here, and is now going to be dropping back as Kevin Thompson breaks past Jacob Reeves. And right now, that Twisted Axle Racing team is really sliding up here really, really well. And Daniel, this is looking pretty good. Should the Elite Southern Motorsports team be nervous with them catching up like this? What do you think, Stella? Cat's got his toes.
Daniel took a pit stop on green flag.
Yeah, so.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm watching St. Cour. He's doing a master class in pass right now. Watching him cruise past Leftwich like he's standing still. I have watched it last season. We're watching it again this season. He still has the touch.
How do you make up almost a 5-second gap?
I don't know. Let's watch.
Yeah, well, that's going to be tough. That's where I question if he's able to do this. He may have to short pit. He may have to take a little less fuel. Something's got to change. I'm just impressed at how loose St. Cour is. I mean, he's kind of fishtailing a little bit out of the exit of every turn, yet he's picking up speed.
I have no clue on that one, because I've been watching him too. He's been flopping around like he's on the end of a line, but he holds it.
Yeah, taking a look at our last lap time, St. Cour trying to put down some solid times, moving a little bit faster here. Right now, his last lap time about that 31.5. Or 31.35, excuse me.
35, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means he's running faster than Simpson, so It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
However, he is not catching Powell and Jennings.
Yeah. But notice how Jennings has now got a 1-second separation off the guys that were originally drafting him here.
Yeah. The worst thing that could happen right now is a caution. Because then everybody else is right back up his tailpipe.
It's definitely going to be tough. And that would definitely actually flip-flop this entire race. It would take these guys and be like, hey, man, what the heck? But you were talking earlier about pits, and now I believe we've got Chris Leftwich rocking his way down pit. He has decided to throw in the towel. He said, nope, it's time for tires and fuel for me. So into pit he goes.
All right, there's one set.
Yep, throwing some tires on here. Let's see how it goes. Alrighty, moving on up.
All
That is
right.
going to put actually Chris Leftwich down a lap here. And Jackson Lomax had come down. He pit back on lap 29. So he's trying to battle his way back out there, sitting 20th now. So only 2 guys a lap down. And the guy who can seem to pit, oh man, you see how tight that thing gets? Right at the wall. And we're going to see if we can take a little bit of a ride along here with Jonathan Jennings. Man, look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I don't know if you can fit a piece of paper in there.
Close to get to the wall.
Wow.
I'm not afraid of that bump out.
Heck, I'm afraid of having to read that fast. So,
Yeah, this is pretty wild. We're gonna see. I want to see again to see if he gets a little close to the wall here. Man,
you tasted that one, didn't you?
yeah, definitely lets you know that he has been practicing. But how he knows where the outsides of his car are. He's not. You don't see him buck away. Some guys you see get close to the wall, they overcorrect and they start getting a little bit of a wiggle. This thing is on a rail, right? Look at that, right there. Man, that is just amazing. So all 36 laps so far have been all Jonathan Jennings Chevrolet in the front. A couple of guys here in the back are trying to see if they can kind of duplicate what they're doing here. Let's see if Kevin Powell can slide on through.
Woo! Maybe not.
Yeah, not that easy, and definitely makes it look easy. Let's see if we can see how it looks from the outside. Remember, we were talking about the wall. I did notice. Watch how far Kevin Powell's off the wall. See how much he just seems a little bit farther off the wall. And Jennings, I don't know. You could put a paper clip between him and the wall, so it's just so close here as they move on through. But Hunter Simpson sitting third. Looks like Hunter Simpson able to come back. Has yet to pit though.
Well, I'll tell you, after sitting at Darlington and watching them come around the corner of 4 and seeing how close they are, Jennings actually has the pro line. I mean, they really do run that close to the wall. It's quite frightening, IRL. But the other guys maybe are about a quarter car off. But I don't know the advantage or disadvantage of sucking up to the wall like that, other than maybe leaving a bit of a stripe and trading paint. But that's what they do.
Yeah, it's impressive here. And I think that's what's getting me is just how impressive that line is. As you see Kevin Powell get just a little bit closer there. Is just that separation. I mean, we're about to hit lap 40 here. And Jennings is still steadily pulling away. So now starting to heat up a little bit. Wilkerson and Reeves heading their way down pit. So now, I'll probably say some of the other guys. Here they come. Tim Henderson, Eddie Rivers. I think Dylan Goodwin is down pit already. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it makes you question fuel mileage. How far can he go? Can he reach down to 46? We'll see. Some of these guys did pit earlier. You remember Chris Leftwich came down lap 31. Jackson Lomax came down lap 32.
Yes.
So some of these guys trying to see if they can get some of their laps back. Leftwich finally moves up, takes a 13 machine into 13th. But he's got a lot of guys who have to pit in front of him. Speaking of pitting,
Here he comes.
Here comes Kraus and Jennings on his way down. Kevin Powell, Hunter Simpson. Oh yeah. Heating up pretty good now. Right now, I'm trying to see that 42 machine I see out there.
It's like Thompson and Simon are going to see if they can get a lap lead.
Oh, yeah. Who in the wide world is in the 42? Interesting. You see Kraus here in the Hot Wheels car looking to shoot his way out of pit.
Don't speed. How many times have we been broadcasting and we see a guy seconds out ahead of everybody else, kicking it, 3 line, and he goes in the pits and speeds or misses his box. I'll tell you that, a pit stall entry and exit is just as important as a good corner.
Oh, yeah. We got a few guys still mixing it up here. Kevin Thompson and Christopher Simon are now down pit. Mike Samia working his way down as well. Now only leaves one other driver who's yet to pit, Michael Dow. He's going to have to go around one whole time to get a lead lap here. It does show him in the lead, but he did not cross the line, so he's going to try to see if he can continue pushing here. And then I believe that is a White Castle. Yes, it is. White Castle.
It is.
54 down
Ooh,
there.
I
See
can-
if he can get it here.
I can go for some White Castle.
What? Ooh, crystals.
I mean, what about you, Patrick? You like White Castle?
No, man, I like crystals. I'm Southern boy, man. What are you talking about? Let's get it going.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. People arguably saying that Popeyes is better than KFC, but I think KFC is better.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, you
Oh,
might have
man.
to try some Southern fried chicken at one point.
We know who's above the Mason-Dixon line now.
Mhm.
Right now. Well, above the line of most people passed. Michael Dow is now broken that limit. He's up 15, but Chris Leftwich, bam, immediately into the lead. So you see how that early pit stop time here, Stella, lap 31 is when Chris pit. And I'm wondering if a little bit of trouble has been had out there by Jackson Lomax. Looks like he had to revisit pit for about a 5-second pit stall time.
Oh.
Yeah, which has dropped him down to 18th position again. Definitely a little tumble up, but I gotta admit, Jackson Lomax still here, still battling, still trying to, do a whole lot of learning here. And with 110 laps at a mile-and-a-half track, he's got plenty of time.
And remember, Lomax had a rough season last year, but I mean, here's the thing, Patrick. You and me, we can both agree that he's getting better and better each race, because towards the end of the season, he was really starting to pick up.
Yeah, he definitely could use Christopher Berger, Matthew Robinson, and I believe Chris Schaefer, the guys who had come out here before. And I believe Nick Schell was kind of a part-time driver. They are losing a lot of their drivers in that Turn 1 racing. And I think a good home for Jackson Lomax to be would probably be the Elite Southern Motorsports team. If not, I would love to see him join up with Twisted Axle Racing. I think that would be huge to see him join along and actually follow along out there with Andrew St. Coeur and the number 12 Ford, because I think if he could learn from St. Coeur and Kevin Thompson, I think they may actually be that fourth missing link. That fourth driver and the missing link of this team would be really a great one to see turn around here. But B-Mac out there getting a little bit of what he's asking for. Top 5 for St. Coeur right now, but still out over by almost 6 seconds off the lead here, as Jonathan Jennings sitting in second, only a second and a half behind Leftwich. Leftwich quickly falling to the demise of Jonathan Jennings' excellent driving out here.
Yeah, taking a look also about teams, they've got about 5 weeks to get it together, because June 29th, their 5th race, the Simtrax Broadcasting 175, is going to be at Talladega. You don't have a friend at Talladega, you don't have a chance.
Well, you definitely need to find teammates, but it's not just teams there, Stella. I would also question trust. If you trust somebody to push you, because you get guys that are out there and you expect them to bump draft or they hit you a certain way, everything is okay. But somebody hits you and then turns just a little bit or wiggles a little bit or gets pushed before that, that could result in a massive pileup for sure. But guys, if you were thinking about racing here with the Doghouse Racing League, you can check them out on Facebook or even at the DoghouseRacingLeague.com. You can check them out as well. Don't forget to check out the Next Level Racing. I have linked them down in the bio. You can check them out. Pretty sweet simulators that they sell there. I definitely think somebody might be trying to aim for one here, or if they are able to upgrade, that might be a fantastic place to be, especially if you're not saying anything's wrong with it. Some drivers are on the side of their computer desk with one monitor and they're rocking it and still flying around here, no problem. But others, others were looking to get that little extra. You get that next level racing rig. You're able to get a little bit kind of those butt kicker systems. get a direct drive wheel, and that's what I'm talking about. That's how you up your game and start feeling more of the car and more, and what it's doing out there on the track, which I would question if that's what Jonathan Jennings has above everybody else. But right now, the only person above Jonathan Jennings is Chris Leftwich, and that being on the track but not on the leaderboard as he regains the lead here and pushes his way back to the front. And now let's watch the distance start to grow, because unfortunately, right now, Jonathan Jennings has about 9 laps fresher tires, and it's starting to pay off as we speak. There he goes. Look at that move. He has already passed him just now and up to a second lead. So Jennings apparently not wanting to let off the gas at all, and he's going to put on another punishing performance here from that 91 Chevrolet.
Yeah, I'm liking the look of it. I mean, he knows where to go, knows how to do it, and he's getting her done.
So far, so good. These guys trying to get a little something extra going on here. No, definitely. I would want to question, what in the world is he doing to that car? I mean, I have been out there racing, Stella, and I've raced in Michigan before, and I found that I had the right tuning. I had tweaked the car. I had changed it up. I was fast, but not as fast as everybody else. And I found the one move I needed to make. And for some odd reason, it was differential preload. As soon as I took it from 5 foot-pounds, I moved it up to 55 foot-pounds. I picked up almost half a second, if not 0.6 of a second, on my lap times. And I went from qualifying 15th to qualifying 3rd. Out there in the officials, and that was exactly what I needed, is just that extra tweak. And I'm wondering what Jonathan Jennings is tweaking to get this extra speed here. I mean, he is blowing the field away yet again. I mean, just the separation, and I just wonder what he's doing differently. I try to find.
Just took a real sharp turn into the pit. Sorry. I wasn't quite sure he made it.
Yeah, Chris Leftwich did make it down into the pits. He's working his way down pit road now. But I'm trying to take a look at the speed. Let's say Hunter Simpson here, who's been pretty consistent here the past few laps. Right now he's getting about that 180, 182 mark. And I just wonder what Jonathan Jennings is doing, because this is the guy you want to hang around. Right now the Elite Southern Motorsports team, these are the guys you want to look for. Consistency, I would say, try to keep an eye on that Shoney's racing team. You want guys, good camaraderie, loud pedal racing team. Guys that are able to, show up at the tracks and make things happen. You get the twisted axle. So, what these guys are doing here? What is Jonathan Jennings tweaking to make his car just so much faster? I mean, he's carrying almost 4 to 5 miles an hour faster through these turns. Is he making a tire pressure adjustment? I don't believe these next gens have tape, so it's not like he has any downforce change he can move. What is he changing here? I mean, it could be something as simple as steering ratio. What is this guy doing? Because we see him entering the turn at 188 miles an hour. Oh, our first caution. Jacob Reeves is involved.
I'm going to be honest with you, Patrick. I really don't know what Jennings does. I mean, like you said, it could be one simple adjustment that makes him stronger and stronger. Or he could just be very familiar with the track and he just knows where the lines are.
Uh-oh. Looks like the right rear is broken on his machine.
Oh, no. Not what he wants to see here in the first event.
Absolutely not. That is not the way you want to start this season.
He's doing his best not to get a towed.
Yep, he towed. That's it.
Too late.
Holy cow.
Man, he must have broke the axle or suspension or something back there.
Yeah, that right rear.
I mean, what about a toe link? I mean, they do have toe links there.
Yeah, well, that toe link went off. Let's take a look here. It's Steven here, because I don't know if Steven had an issue or if this was some of the cause.
Right.
No, that looks like it was all by himself, but he whole track,
the 42.
dude.
I mean, the 42 had nowhere to go.
Yeah, this is going to take him out of the race. Remember, no fast repairs. That thing's wasted.
Yeah, that thing is done. He's out of the race.
Right.
I mean, it kind of sucks, though, Patrick, because it's already the first event. And you don't want to get a DNF because that's just going to put you behind that. It's just going to put you in a hole, and now you're going to have to dig yourself out.
Yeah, this is pretty brutal here.
That was a hard
For
lick.
Jacob Reeves. We'll actually cut away to a bit of a replay here and try to figure out what
sent Jacob off into
what
in the
sent him
first
up.
place?
Why was he
Yeah.
almost at a stop when somebody else showed up? So guys, hold on just a
Yeah.
moment. We'll try to run down and figure out what happened here. By taking a look at it here, I believe we caught up. This is how Jacob Reeves enters turn 3 and 4. And notice how that front end starts sliding.
Sideways.
Yeah, already looks like Jackson Lomax may have felt this as well. He's trying to collect it back, clips the wall. But I would say, notice how all the tires are straight. And everything's
Until this
okay.
point.
Looks like he may have been able to come back, but that's going to do it for Jacob Reeves tonight.
Yeah.
Look at the dent that left in that right rear quarter panel. I mean, look at the tire. It's
Yep.
not even straight anymore.
Yeah, it broke him in half here. Yeah, it broke him in half. There's gonna be nothing left of that machine, so he may be done for the night there. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Now McConey Entertainment looks like they're gonna be in the pit road now, because that's gonna do it for them. Man. All right, let's see if we can find our guys out there on the track. Stella, I know you joined me for another league. Are you happy about no choose cone rule here?
I love no choose cone rule.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Stella. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. I actually like the choose cone here because there's people that could be in the second and third row that can move up a row and get a shot here, and you never know who's gonna come out winner.
I've seen people in 10th place end up in the front row just because they wanted low line versus high line, and that is
it's
not
exciting. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's exciting.
No, they're in 10th because they're supposed to be in 10th. They get up in that first row, and then they make a holy hell of a mess.
Patrick, what's your opinion on the choose cone?
I think sometimes it can be moved around via team choice. I've seen a team, a guy actually in second take a third position to get the launch. So it can really shuffle things up. I think it gets kind of confusing until you understand what exactly they're trying to accomplish. But, to me, I like it old school like this. Let's re-rack them and try again. And speaking of re-racking, Jonathan Jennings' fantastic and enormous lead has been chopped away, and I would love to see Andrew St. Cyr and Kevin Thompson try to give this guy a run for his money. So,
I can guarantee you will see that.
first caution is behind us now. Fantastic restart by Jennings out front. Kevin Powell, his brother, following in this forward. But Andrew St. Cyr has got to be on it now, and he is. Dropping down to the bottom, chasing that 91 machine, and away they go. Jennings, St. Cyr, 1 and 2. Kevin Powell sitting third. Hunter Simpson is fourth. And Kevin Thompson, looks like a little pop to the wall there, and he's now fifth. I want to stay up front here because I think there may be a battle for the lead, but what do you do? Drivers did all pit on lap 58 or 59, so fresh tires for all our guys out here, and we're going to give it another run. So they have got to squeak this out. But Jackson Lomax saying out there in the chat, he tested all week on a 100-degree track. It's 69 out there on the track now.
Oh.
So you want to talk about a heartbreaker. That is, when you flip-flop it almost over 30 degrees, that you lose all tack. There's no way to catch back up. And when he's built and set up the car for that, I can't blame him. But there was Jonathan Jennings, looked like first pop to the wall for him. And maybe that might cause a little bit of damage for St. Croix to catch up here.
Now, I don't think it's going to cause too much damage to his race car, but I think it's going to possibly cut down a tire. You never know, but let's just try to stay positive here as you see Jonathan Jennings still in your lead. But Lucas in second place is the 12th car of St. We haven't talked about him lately, Patrick. I mean, are you kind of shocked he's up here in the top 3 as he sees under fire now from Powell?
Absolutely not. St. Croix is one heck of a driver up here. B-Mac has been rooting him on here all night, and St. Croix is really rolling that top line here. He was fast on the bottom, but for longevity, I think he needs to hang out here up at the top. He needs to kind of follow along and see if he can wear these guys down, because St. Croix always builds his cars for long-run speed. He's able to get some passes earlier in the run. If he can wait about 20 laps, then St. Croix starts turning on the gas, and that's where I see him capitalize the most. He's able to pass 2, 3, 4, even 5 cars here later in the run.
And look who's in the top 2. It's the 2 strongest drivers we saw last season. Remember at Coda, Patrick, when we saw Jennings and Powell, they were dominating that road course. But look where they are right now. They're in the top 3, and it doesn't surprise me. And rounding out your top 3 is the 5 of Simpson, which is now closing the door. But it looks like these top 3 are trying to pull away from the pack here.
I know, you were kind of mentioning there at that road course, if anybody, if you ask me, if anybody was owning that road course, it was Hunter Simpson. Hunter Simpson,
really
remember, started from the pits, and he was able to reel them back in with about 5 to 10 seconds out of almost a 2.5 minute lap. So I would probably put it on the number 5 was the strongest there. Jennings got a good start. If Hunter Simpson had started where he was supposed to, instead of having a little bit of a monitor problem, that would probably be our winner. Right there is the number 5. But St. Croix dropping down into 4th now. At least he's up 9 positions from where he originally started, but don't knock out St. Croix now. He's going to be able to get back up front as his Twisted Axle racing team buddy of Kevin Thompson is sitting 5th. Rotating our way on back, Matthew Powell sitting 8th. They'll be behind Daniel Wilkerson here. Ken Kraus, Gary Clune back into 10th where he originally started. Eddie Rivers, Bill Gentry, and Tim Henderson. You know, Gentry and Henderson have been kind of been duking it out here lately. I know Henderson, Gentry actually got in Henderson at one point earlier here in that run. But some of these drivers out of the race already. Chris Leftwich has taken it to the garage. Jacob Reeves and Jackson Lomax have all taken it to the garage as we speak. Mike Leftwich down a bunch of laps here. I believe he's down about 15 laps on that number 60 machine, and he's trying to get a few of them back. If he is able to continue and push on through, he'll be able to at least get up to the 18th position, passing Reeves and Chris Leftwich out there. But we just saw the battle end there between Bill Gentry and Tim Henderson. And a couple of other drivers out here kind of trying to figure out how to weasel their way back up to the front. You know, this track being so tough on these tires and being, you know, a little bit of a change here, you know, it makes you question what they can do to continue the longevity here of this race as we move past lap 71 on to 72. And I would say, you know, looking out there in the chat, Jackson Lomax, man, I would try to find another team saying that you're the last Lone Ranger. I think that may be a moot point. I would try to hit up the Twisted Action Racing team. These guys know what they got going on. They could definitely use a fourth hand out there to get some, have some more help out there if you're looking to practice along with these guys. Who's been putting in some practice time? Daniel Wilkerson, along kind of the one of the admins here with the Doghouse Racing League. Like I said, if you guys are looking to join the Doghouse Racing League, doghouseracingle.com, or you can find them on Facebook. And that is definitely a great place, if you ask me, where you can find them, either out there or on their website. And you can join up here. They are not just running Cup Series, guys. They also have multiple other series. They have the Tuesday night trucks, and they even have a short track series. So keep an eye out for that. I believe short track series are running the Legends. So some of those guys have kind of promoted that and having a bunch of fun over there. Some of the drivers actually here tonight are from that series, and they're trying their hand at these next gens that are definitely a handful week in and week out. And even after a huge update, these things are a handful. I knew we postponed actually last season by one race because of a tire and damage model, and I can't blame them one bit. If you have taken time there, Stella, to build this car, get this thing squared away, and get, put down some fast times, and let's just say the last 4 or 5 days have been wiped clean because of a iRacing update, I can't blame them for wanting to take more time and try to fix it up.
Yeah, that's painful. The short track series not only runs the legends for these guys, but they also run the late model stocks.
Oh,
So that gives you.
Isn't that the new car? I think that's the new cars.
That's just I'm letting you know that how old or how new, I don't know. Now, mind you, the legends are the awesome little 34 coupes, though.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I've tried racing, but man, the tires fry off on those things so fast.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm probably too aggressive on her. I've seen Jonathan Jennings win a bunch over there, too. And I think somebody's going to start adding weight to his car if he keeps winning. I would definitely try to add another, 20 kilos to his car and see if he can hit the brakes on this guy. Once again, his
It's
Chevy's...
not a horse race where you keep putting weight in the saddle, the handicap.
Oh.
No.
There is not. You can do that. You can add weight to somebody's car. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Hey,
That's cool.
I've even joked about that. 'Cause if somebody's winning too much, they actually can add weight to the car and then see if they can swing it around a little bit, which I would question if that would be a good front ballast. Actually add a little bit of weight and shift it toward the front so we've got more turning power.
Don't you just do that maybe with your brake bias thing?
Possible. All right, let's take a look.
Just
out
thinking
there.
about Jeremy Burns last night,
No,
Oh.
yeah, that was a fixed setup league. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
but he was, Farron is out there.
I
Hi, Farron is
know.
fast.
I know Farron is fast. I want to get him out here on the asphalt, but I know he's all about that dirt. All right, and A-Doggy's out there. He said he runs the new late model stocks on Friday night. All right. So definitely you guys can join up. Michael Farron, I miss you too, bud. Definitely don't have a dirt league with you running in anymore. I am sticking to the asphalt for Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays now. And then if you want to punish yourself at the big show, you can show up there for Saturday and Sundays.
He did say he's going to be giving it a chance soon. We look forward to seeing you.
Ooh, we're going to see how fast Farron is out there. Definitely, I smell a purple car in my future. Seeing him out there. That'd be pretty cool. 79 laps complete here with the Doghouse Racing League. This is the season opener, the second round here of the year. And I've got to admit, this one's kind of really chalking up to be a good one here so far. As Andrew St. Coeur, what a move! Yeah, there you go. Use a lap car, jam him. Lap car of the number 50 machine. Sliding on back, Michael Dow feeling like a pinball on the way through with that one. There is
But
nothing
nobody
telling
touched him.
There is nothing telling him where he needed to be. And no one telling him, but look at this. This is exactly what you want to see. Later on in the run, Andrew St. Coeur now starting to tip in. He last pit on lap 58. We're back under green about lap 60, 61. And here he goes, sliding from that 5th position back into 2nd and now starting to pick up the pace. Notice the gap between Jennings and St. Coeur. St. Coeur starting to turn on the gas. But Jennings able to hold on even longer normally. So he's now weighing his options. How long did it take Jennings to pit last time? Because he is going to be the man to beat. So keep an eye on St. Coeur. But we'll rotate back to Hunter Simpson and Kevin Thompson. Thompson rotating on the bottom, waiting to see if he can reach up there to St. Coeur, get a little draft from him and pull him on through. Kevin Thompson, loose out of 4, and now it's given the 21 Ford. A whole lot of things to think about as Kevin Thompson trying to push him up the track a little bit to see if he can get another line. Fantastic move here by Kevin Thompson and his Ford. Seeing if he can get Hunter Simpson up toward the top. Look out.
Well, Simpson gave him a nice little push on the last lap. I'm kind of curious whether he's saying lead follower, get out of the way.
Yeah, taking a little look here. Always hope St. Coeur and these guys were able to give a little catch up to Jennings. But my gut always tells me that Jennings sandbags. I don't know how he can lead that far because notice how Jennings is picking up the pace again. Now he's out to that 3/4 of a second lead over St. Cour, and St. Cour is not slowing down. Right now, St. Cour is still holding a solid time of a 39.5 last lap, and Jennings is now starting to pick up the pace again. So I think he gets that nice, comfortable lead, and I just don't know how he's able to break away and do that. That's just absolutely mind-blowing to me. But it looks like the battle has calmed down. Hunter Simpson regains third, and Kevin Thompson has to duck back down into fourth. And it looks like that may do it for these guys. Actually, out there in the chat, oh yeah, Farron will be back in the purple and black, and he'll try to get some practice in. So, man, if you like open setup leagues, which I know you did there at the Thunder Racing League, this would be your open setup league here, the Doghouse Racing League, and they're always looking for drivers here. I would love to see this place fill up with about 25 to 30 drivers a night. Definitely, so we are looking up for more drivers. If you've got friends, get them signed up here as well.
Hey, more drivers, more action, Pat.
Oh, yeah. Well, definitely all over the track. And I've got to say, you know, when guys are sliding and moving around trying to find different lines, that would be a wonderful thing to see more guys packed in. But consider this. 85 laps into this thing, we only had one caution back on lap 56. And that was Jacob Reeves getting a little bit loose, making contact with the wall. And then Steven out there absolutely blew him to bits out there in the number 22 Chevrolet, which I've got to admit, Stella, he's still out there.
No. No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now we know who was in our 42 car.
Oh.
He's in the 22 Chevrolet. So a little paint fix here for him, and I'm sure we'll see him kind of square that one up after this. But a couple of drivers here. Let's rotate on back, because I believe, yes, they are. Jonathan Jennings coming down pit, leading St. Cour, and Kevin Thompson out. 24 laps to go. Everybody has to pit at least one more time and get their final set of tires. Who decides the short pit here?
Well, I'll tell you, earlier this week, Jennings took a 2-tire pit stop and won the race because of it. Right. So I am curious to see what happens. All
right, we'll keep an eye here on that 91 Chevrolet here. I would definitely expect to see at least 2. Fuel and go, I think, will be suicide at this track. But let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, that's enough time. We know exactly what's happening there. All right, let's move on and see how St. Cour does as St. Cour's working his way down. Christopher Simon resumes the lead. Simon did pit on lap 58. Remember how Simon was actually off? He was off pit cycle.
Yeah,
he was off pit cycle. But then with that caution, he was able to regain and get back on pit cycle. So he's going to remain out there with Matthew Powell and Kim Kraus as they sit 1, 2, and 3. Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Cour trying to squeeze out there for 4 and 5.
And this race has been going very, very fast because we haven't had that many cautions like you mentioned earlier, Patrick. But, I mean, 22 to go. Are you expecting a lead change here anytime soon? Or
well,
I think we're just going to keep it green?
Yeah, Simon Powell and Kraus is sitting 1, 2, and 3 with St. Cour weaseling his way back out there. I would question how soon before Cour and Jennings meet. And that's going to be pretty close here as we take a quick little look at Jennings and a move to St. Cour. So only about 2 turns as St. Cour almost gets taken out here. Boy, that was definitely a nasty one there. Kim Kraus trying to stay together. Now, keep in mind, I don't want to knock Kim Kraus here a little bit, but last time he got tires was back on lap 58, so him sticking to the track as well as everybody else, I would probably say no. But no. You called earlier, Stella, a 2-tire pit stop to win the race. This guy right here.
Oh.
This guy right here had a 11-second pit stop.
Well, because the top 4 that came in earlier did all 4. So.
Yeah, well, right.
Interesting.
So where did the left side tires put him here? So only about 3 1/4 seconds behind is Jonathan Jennings. St. Cour is going to have to try to hold him off here for 20 laps as Simon and Kraus are going to have to come in. There's no doubt about it. They're not going to be able to make it to the end. So Christopher Simon here in the lead. Looks like he's going ahead and passing the 44, Mike Samia. Samia is down a few laps, though. I would say he's trying to get one back as he squeaks back in front of that 27 machine.
And he realized that, no, not another one.
Yep. It definitely almost looks like he's in slow motion here. He is really moving, though. He's up to about that 170 mark. when you see Samia slice on through. When he pit back on lap 62, he was down there for almost 3 minutes. So Samia had some trouble earlier in the run as well. Some contact out there with the wall. We'll kind of see how this one boils down, but we're going to cut to commercial here before Simon and Kraus decide to come down pit and see if St. Cour can resume or at least obtain the lead here and get back out front and see how he does here. The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen. Open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of our West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. "14 laps left to go in this competition here. 13 now as Christopher Simon passes across the line. Simon has still yet to pit since lap 58, and Kim Kraus as well. So the 27 Toyota and that 218 Chevrolet in the front still remain in the front. So far, so good, but St. Cour will be easily able to make up that 25-second gap. The gap I'm more worried about for St. Cour is that 2.5-second gap between him and Jonathan Jennings. Jennings waiting this one out as Jennings took a 4-tire pit stop. Andrew St. Cour only took 2. So that is going to be the big switch up here that may actually win him this race and put St. Cour's Ford into the lead. But as we wait for Christopher Simon to determine when he's going to come down pit, we all sit and wait and hope really what comes after that. If Simon is able to stretch it out to the end, that would be even more mind-blowing to see him squeak it out that far. But remember, that fuel has changed here, Daniel, just a little bit from that 60% to 70%. So they're able to definitely spread it out, spread it apart, extend the laps. And I wonder if anybody's tested, if they can survive and extend that lead for him to make it all the way here.
Yeah, that's what I want to know at this point is exactly what is their window. And if everybody's still working on the 50 or 60% window and he knows exactly how far he can go, is it just a matter of, he doesn't have enough tires, but he has enough fuel? With a 21-second lead, he might still be golden.
Kraus down pit. That may be what we're looking for. That may be it. So now, Christopher Simon still in the lead here, and
I think he's gonna stretch it out.
Well,
yeah, but he just took a nick off of that wall back there.
Yeah, with 10 to go, only a 21-second lead over St. Cour. Simon's, I swear, he's gonna have to pit. There's no way I think he's gonna make it, but he is trying. He may have been sandbagging this, trying to see if he can hold it here. We'll take a little look here on the inside to see if he's might be clutching it. See how that RPM dropped down there? No, I think he may be trying to clutch and stretch out as far as he can. And you'd hate to see it when you're so close here. At least your pit lane time is going to be 45 seconds. Yep, that's it. Down pit road he comes.
Yep. That's
oh,
a shame.
Man. Well, down pit. So now St. Cour going to catch up.
Hey, but don't count out who's gonna be in second place in the 91 Jennings.
Yep. Well, we'll see. Right now, the 91 of Jennings will obtain second as soon as he passes the leader. Right now, our new leader will be Andrew St. Cour in the front, and that 2-second gap that he has spread over top of Jennings, he's got to hold it for 8 more laps. Can Andrew St. Cour from Twisted Axle Racing get this one? B-Mac, I guarantee you, out there grabbing a hold of the sides of your seat, man. This is gonna be the run, and St. Cour would be awesome to see him open this one after a commanding run here by Jonathan Jennings, the upset win. But Jonathan Jennings, notice that time. He has he's almost taken off a quarter of a second that lap. So here we go. You know what? No, we're gonna take a ride along. I need to see what he's doing different here. Something is changing. Why? How is he making up so much time here?
Yeah, because he was at 2 seconds with 8 laps. And now he's 7 laps to go, and he's a second and a half behind. So a half a second a lap, he's gonna pass him if he can keep this up.
At least another quarter of a second is what he shaved off a couple laps ago. Seems to be stalling out from right there. Notice that turn entrance. Saws a little more off here. Boy. Well, and then once he's able to catch the draft, that's going to do it. St. Cour staying up really on that same line toward the top. Yeah, looking pretty good here for Jennings. Jennings down to now 1.3. 5 to go. St. Cour is going to have to do some serious blocking here because I think Jennings might reel him in. Hunter Simpson, we don't want to mark him out. He's still hanging back there in that third position. But St. Cour getting ready to run into some lap traffic here. What does St. Cour do? Because his moves here are going to determine the race.
And that's going to decide whether he wins this race or not with this lap traffic. It's really hard to predict where the lap traffic is going to go.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. Etiquette should prevail as far as them going high or going low. That should have already been set up in the beginning.
Yeah, well, it could be high or low. You can move at the request of the leader. Right now, this could be huge as we see. There we go. St. Cour on the outside. Now he kind of wishes that lap traffic will rotate back up to the front and see if he can jam up Jonathan Jennings here. Taking a look back here.
I mean, if the 91 is sniffing the 12's draft, it's going to be so close. Like, I'm not kidding.
Yeah, right now Jennings using that draft from the 42.
St.
Cour hits the wall.
You can tell he's looking out his mirror now. He's just all nervous right now.
Yeah, St. Cour may not be able to drop down on that front stretch like he was hoping, dragging a little extra speed into that turn. And that may have been what caused that. Less than a second now. Jennings looking at St. Cour, and St. Cour will have 2 to go coming at the line. So this is going to be pretty close as Jennings 0.68 behind. St. Cour doing everything he can to stay out front, but now does that 4-tire pit stop pay off for Jonathan Jennings? Guys, what do you think here before we head into the white flag?
I mean, if I was the 12 of St. Cour, don't look in your mirror, listen to your spotter, and just keep looking forward. Don't look in your mirror, because if you do so, it's going to put so much pressure on you, and if you make a costly mistake, it could cost you the win. So just stay looking forward.
All right, looks like Jennings has caught a hold of Andrew St. Cour's draft. White flag is out. He only has to hold him off for 4 more turns. Here comes Jonathan Jennings reeling him in, less than 4/10. Here we go. Andrew St. Cour trying to hold the top line. What can Jonathan Jennings do? as he tips into the gas just a little more. Andrew St. Cour definitely keeping the eyes out the windshield. Wants nothing to do with that 91 Chevrolet as he pushes the 12 Ford to the front. As we come around turn number 4, less than a quarter of a second. Jonathan Jennings turning up the heat, but it looks like Andrew St. Cour got him on a 2-tire call and beats him by a quarter of a second at the line.
Wow.
Nice.
That was great racing.
Nice race. Excellent race.
Andrew St. Cour bringing home the win here at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic 110 laps. I got to admit, at least one caution during this race, and it shuffled the entire thing up. Lap 58 is when everybody pit, and then a 2-tire callback on lap 87 for Andrew St. Cour brings him the win by only a quarter of a second. But really, hats off to Jonathan Jennings for reeling him in by almost 3 seconds behind with 20 to go and almost getting him here. I think if there had been 2 more laps, Jennings may have had him.
Yeah, good possibility, but that was stellar driving considering where St. Cour started and the decisions in pit that he made. That was excellent driving.
Yeah, that was intense. That was intense. I enjoyed every bit of that one, guys.
Yeah, I did too.
Man, oh man, oh man. Alrighty, we're going to kind of wait for these guys to get their burnouts done. As St. Cour, he's got to be enjoying that. I'm surprised there's any rubber left on that one. A little damage to the right side of his machine, and that is going to do it for us here tonight, guys. Hold on just a moment, though. We are going to try to run our guys down here and definitely have a chat with them, bring up our final results here of the race, where all your favorite drivers placed. I would want to mention the top 11 drivers made it on the lead lap. And just barely. I think another 2 more seconds, Eddie Rivers may have been down a lap. So these guys are running about 30 and a half second lap time. So that's pretty close. But Jennings, so close there. Oh, so close. And that's kind of what you see here a little bit is these guys getting spread apart, and it's definitely a hard run there. You know, definitely the guys aren't as close together as I would have hoped.
They were absolutely spread through the entire track.
Yeah.
But, you know, it happens when you have so much green flag racing, which I have no problem with, you know. I'd rather see racing than pacing any day.
Yeah.
But we have all of our podium placements sitting in the waiting room waiting for you.
Good Lord, I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hold on just a moment. We'll bring them in here. Alrighty, everybody. We have caught up with our third place finisher, Hunter Simpson. Talk to me about this race, man. That 5 Chevrolet was really on a charge there early in the run. What happened here toward the end? Was it a different pit call?
It's just we was just trying to track down the leader, and some lap traffic got in the way. You know how it goes sometimes. Some people just got to look out and read the situation and have better track awareness. So hopefully we can get all that ironed out. But it was gonna be a good finish with John and Andrew at the end.
I would question, you know, I know it's track awareness. Is there a possibility of an over-the-radio conversation between the leader and lapped cars to say, hey, can you move lower, can you move high?
Yes, there was a conversation that Andrew, you know, he nicely said, hey, can you move to the bottom, please? Because he's obviously trying to win, and
I'm in
and
trouble.
uh, and they went down, but it all went to heck after that.
Oh yeah, well, it was definitely a mix-up to me from the outside looking in. Man, that gave it the exact, the spice we needed right there at the end. It wasn't going to be a, everybody kind of single file down at the bottom. No, man, you guys were mixing it up, trying to slice through the whole thing and make something of it. Hunter Simpson, man, excellent race here tonight. Kind of, what was the hardest thing you were noticing out there on the track here tonight?
Just trying to find the clean air and keeping your car underneath you. I was always behind somebody in the race. I had my great teammate Kevin ahead of me and John ahead of him, and I was just trying to fight to have clean air, because if you get so close to that second car or whoever's ahead of you, it makes you real tight. And so I was trying to manage, staying close enough to where I was having good runs and maybe possibly passing him, but also saving my tires at the same time.
Yeah, king of saving tires tonight was Jonathan Jennings. I don't know how he comes up with that speed. You guys have got to really, backyard beat him down, kind of hold his arms back and figure out what in the world he's doing. You guys have got the right idea, but I think he's holding something back here, bud. There's no way, you guys are all clumped together within a quarter of a second, and 8 laps later he leaves you by a second. What's
He's
going
got
on
some
out
secret sauce.
He's really talented. Most people in this league are, and he works really hard. I wish you guys could see all the work he puts in, and all the rest of our team put in a ton of work. And sometimes it just doesn't go my way or anybody else's, but he's real consistent, and I'm happy to have a great teammate like him.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully we end up with a road course. I believe I don't see a road course that you guys, except Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I think it's just Watkins Glen.
Yeah, where you may be able to show up and really put on a great show there, man. Kind of had rally caps for you here, bud.
I really wish we went to the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, it'd be all right. All right, Hunter. Well, you are off next week for Memorial Day. We moved to Darlington. Talk to me about the lady in black here. What's your outlook on that race?
Darlington is a very, very tough track, but it's also very fun for the people that can handle to practice and learn how to drive it right. And so it's a track that shows who puts in the work and who is kind of slacking a little bit. So hopefully we can put in enough time and have a good result for the team. Make it exciting.
Shout outs, my man. Shout outs. Give them to me.
I want to thank Daniel and all the league admins for putting in all the hard work every week. It's been a rough past couple weeks with some unfortunate races, and hopefully we can get all that cleaned up and make it an even better league. You guys for the broadcast and all my teammates for allowing me to be here and have an amazing time and letting me race with them.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you're definitely an awesome addition, Hunter. Don't knock yourself down, man. You do a fantastic job. Can't wait to see what you got for us in a couple weeks. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll see you then.
Yep. Alrighty, everybody. That is Hunter Simpson. Moving us to Jonathan Jennings, who all but had this one in the bag. Let's see if we can grab a hold of Jonathan Jennings here. Jonathan, talk to me here, man. This race had your name all over it. Talk to me about the last pit stop here.
I guess Andrew maybe took no tires or 2 tires. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't know. I had a shot there at the end, but I don't know what lap traffic was doing.
All right.
They were asked to move by the leader, and they just, I don't know, lack of awareness, I guess.
New guys, my man. New guys. They got to be everywhere. But I was telling Hunter Simpson, it added that spice to the end of the race, man. I think it definitely switched it up a little bit. I wasn't sure if you were using a little bit of the draft there from the 42 machine, which I believe was Stephen Buenomo. I believe is his last name. Bonomo.
Yeah, that's him. That's the one that messed me up.
Yeah, we're actually watching it right here in the replay of you kind of sneaking up on him and then just having to change your lineup to make that pass. Yeah, actually, Stella, look in the back there. You see Hunter Simpson sliding?
Whee!
Yeah, he's actually sideways trying to come through 3 and 4, trying to pass him there. But it's definitely, it added a little extra chunk to it. But the 4-tire call here, it seemed like the right move. But I spent more time trying to ride along with you, trying to figure out how in the world you can pick up a quarter, if not half a second a lap at will.
Sometimes I hit my line just right. Sometimes I miss it. So it's really hard. Like running the top. If you
Man,
don't do it hard enough, you get loose. If you do it too much, you're in the wall. So it's fine line.
one of these days I'm going to have to watch you practice out there because I am having a hard time believing that. We watched you get so close to the wall, I said you couldn't put a paper clip between you and the wall. Some of these other guys you could see leave half a car length, if not, 3/4 of a car length off the wall to keep away from it. You were unfazed by the bump out heading into 3. Nothing bothered you heading into 1. I mean, and the way your exits were just, I mean, remarkable. Stella was even saying it was like real life. You snug up and you know the exact dimensions of your car not to make that contact. It seemed this race was all yours, except that final pit stop here.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for that's that's a compliment for me. But yeah, I practice a ton for all this stuff just to make sure I don't lose it myself. Like I do everything I can to put myself in a spot to win it. But
Well,
yeah,
you give us a pretty good
And
show, I'll tell you that.
and that's funny that you say that, Jonathan, because in the broadcast they said either he's been practicing really well and knows the lines in these tracks, or he just made a quick adjustment. But it seems like you know these lines here.
yeah. After that first run, I made an adjustment, and then right before I pitted, I canceled it because the car was starting to come back, and it stayed like that. So I didn't
Yeah.
make no changes.
Alrighty, man. Dude, we head into Darlington. And I keep trying to get a little information out of you. The next gens are absolutely terrible on exit on 2 at Darlington, which normally has been the exit of 4, but they actually handle quite well on 4. The exit of 2 is the wrong one, and you won't tell me what kind of adjustment I should make to get this thing, to make this car tight. I would assume it's a slew of answers. It could be anything, but, are you nervous about heading into that track in the next coming weeks?
Not really. That's one of my favorite tracks. It's my home track, so I try really hard there.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to mark you down here on the calendar as a possible or a definite win here. Jonathan, give me your shout-outs here, bud.
You guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for their for doing this every week, and all my teammates for the great teamwork. It helps us bring good stuff to the races.
Oh, yeah, each and every week, definitely up. I should leave it to you to try to go out there and see if you can seed a little bit, see if you can get a couple more drivers out here. I'd like to see, 4 or 5 more guys with your kind of speed out here, and somebody you're nervous about, kind of going out there and whomping you week in and week out.
Hunter and Kevin give me a run. St. Core, obviously. There's several of them in here that give me a run for my money.
Yeah.
And
Just
they've helped me get better.
I just mean like maybe reach out and get a pro or something, so you can get Ross Chastain out there or, Kyle Larson that comes out here actually on the sim, and see if you can get, see what you guys can do. I would put you guys at that pro level and see what you guys can put, kind of tell them put up or shut up. You guys are in the real thing. Let's see if you can beat me in the sim.
Ooh.
So, all right, Jonathan, appreciate you joining us here tonight, man. Congratulations on the second place finish. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right, man. Thank you.
All righty. That's going to do it for Jonathan Jennings. Let's go ahead and get right to Andrew St. Cour. I like talking to this guy. This guy makes me excited. He makes me excited to talk to him. I love talking to him. Andrew St. Cour. Man, this race, 2-tire call, obviously the right call. I mean, what made you change your mind heading down in the pit?
I was committed to that actually on the 4-tire stop, the caution that we had. That was the game plan at that point, to split the difference and take 2. I felt as though Jonathan was quicker early. Long run pace, run the bottom. I felt I could keep up, but I didn't know if I'd have enough to pass. if you know what I mean. I started the race, qualified terrible, moved from eighth to I think fourth or fifth before the first caution. So, and I was running some pretty good laps there. Keeping an eye on the lap times. Jonathan was really the only one at that point that was on the longer run, the first run that we did, that was keeping pace with me, if not faster than me. So I knew I had to gamble. I knew I had to do something different. So I was committed 100%. As long as we went green, I was going to take 4 on that last pit stop or last caution, and I was committed to taking 2 the next time through. And actually, I got a little lucky there because I forgot to make the adjustment on my fuel. So
Oh.
after my 2 tires were on, I had to wait for another second and a half, 2 seconds for it to finish fueling. So if that wasn't the case, I feel like it wouldn't have been as close at the end. I would have been able to keep another second on him. So anyway,
Wow.
it was a good call. Obviously, that's something that I have learned with this new version of the next gen. That 2-tire strategy does work, especially on a shorter run. Although that run, I believe, was approximately 22 laps. I'm thinking, I can't remember. So it just goes to show that you can gamble and do that. Now, there was a time, as you would know, that 2 tires pretty well was, the death. Yeah, it just
Mhm.
wouldn't work.
It was suicide.
It was, and but I've dabbled with that as of late in this car, and it's been successful for me. I've had some success at a couple tracks, and not to show my hand, but Darlington was another one that worked for me. So. Um,
Ooh.
yeah,
So
so
we're going to see a rematch.
I'm sure somebody's listening to the
You wish.
podcast. So yeah, but anyway, it all comes down to the time that you're going to do it. There's other adjustments you have to make. It does get tight if you take 2. So you definitely have to loosen that car up, take some wedge out, add some pressure, or whatever you're going to do to try to allow it to rotate. But that car, honestly, 2 tires was playing it. I was no issues until the last 3 or 4 laps. Getting on throttle, in particular in 3-4. I was fine through 1-2, but 3-4 was a little snug for me, and then it got a little snappy loose. But the lap traffic there near the end, I know the guys on the last couple laps, they kind of moved for me when I called it out, which I really appreciate them doing that. However, there were a couple laps before that where I had to kind of split a couple cars, which I know I lost a half second right off the bat in that one turn to Jonathan. So I definitely couldn't afford to lose more time like that. I was fortunate to hang on. I mean, it was a gamble. It worked out, and yeah, so that's pretty well it. I was, after being away for so many weeks, coming back with a win, starting the season strong. That was really my game plan, and hopefully we can continue this for a while.
Oh yeah, man! I was just getting ready to ask you. Missing weeks there at the end of the first season. This has got to be your time to shine. You can't let Jennings get a sweep on the second, because there are things at stake here. Once we get to the end of actually the third season that you guys will be lining up for. So what is everything squared away where we're going to see that Advanced Auto Parts Ford out in front, and out here on the track more often?
Yeah, I got to look at the schedule. Kind of hoping that maybe there's a week or 2 there that I don't know. I don't know if there's any gaps or breaks in the schedule at all, actually. I
yeah,
do
there is.
There
know.
is the first week of June and the first week of July.
I was
Okay,
just gonna
so
say it's somewhere by July or
yeah,
June.
if it's the first full week of June between the 3rd and the 10th, I'll be away. So I'm hoping that that's the week.
Yes, June 1st would be your regular day, and it's an off week.
But the 8th
And
is
June
Darlington.
6th.
June 6th is a regular week, or is a race?
And June 6th is also an off week.
Okay, I'm missing that one, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
works for me. So yeah, so Darlington, I'll be around next week for that. That's next week, right? Yep.
It's
No,
the
8th.
8th. Well, yeah, the 8th of June is Darlington.
I'm
It's 2
confused.
weeks.
Oh, you're talking about the truck. I'm not in the truck racing. I haven't done that in a while. So
No,
the
this is
8th,
Cup.
I thought the 6th was the trucks and the 8th was the cup. That's what threw me off. So yeah, I'll try to be here for the 8th for Darlington for sure. So I'm looking forward to that.
Man. Yeah, we won't. Let's not get too carried away here. Andrew St. Cour, appreciate talking to you, man. You kind of made it easy, man. I didn't have to ask you anything. So other than your shout outs here, bud.
I got to make up for all the lost time. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so no, I appreciate you guys for doing this. I see you've got a couple new people here from the last time I was here, so it's great to see some support there in the broadcast booth, and I look forward to watching that replay and listening to everybody. So thank you, and I support or appreciate Daniel's support and the admins, and I don't know if BMAC was watching, but if she was, shout
Oh,
out to
yes.
her. So thanks for
First-
watching. And
First one out on the chat.
awesome. All right, well, thanks, folks, and have a good night.
Yep, appreciate it, bud. Thanks, Andrew.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, everybody, that's Andrew St. Coeur. Fantastic run by him. I am so blown away, and I'm glad I was able to call a race where he was able to get out in front. So his Ford prevails here at Kansas, and if I'm not mistaken, Fords prevail here at Kansas most of the time. Right? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I do
think-
not have that stat.
Okay, I thought Fords mostly win here at Kansas, and then Chevrolets have ended up coming second. But man, oh man, he ends up not just winning it, but he's the hard charger here of this race, up 12 positions to get the win. The only person able to get double-digit moves there is Tim Henderson, who ended up finishing 8th in that number 4 Chevrolet. But that is going to do it for us here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys joining us. It is a awesome. It is a pleasure bringing all this racing back to you from the Doghouse Racing League as we start season number 2 here this year. This is going to be a wild one. Like I said, will not see you next week, so don't tune in looking for me on June 1st. Next time I will see you is June 8th. Be here sharp about 8 o'clock. I'll have the kind of warm-up screen waiting on you, and then we'll be ready, locked and loaded for Darlington at 110 laps at the Lady in the Black, the track that is too tough to tame, but that's going to do it for us. Be well, be safe, be kind. I'll see all you guys next time.